Vice Chair and co-host Wally Over. Rick Provost. Marie Riggio, I hope I don't mispronounce her name, and Tim Willis. The organizing committee could not make this happen without an army of some 350 extraordinary volunteers. These men and women are the boots on the ground for this endeavor. They worked hard to set up this wall on this beautiful site before you today that you sit here on, and they dedicated their time while the wall is here. They'll be here for 24/7 to assist visitors, to help people find specific names on the wall. And in the final hour, they'll be the ones to help pack up the wall for the journey home. Please join me in thanking those who donated funds to sponsor this event. I'd like to read the list of those who donated at the highest sponsorship level. The General P.X. Kelly Memorial Fund, which is managed by the Outer Banks Community Foundation. The towns of Nags Head, Southern Shores, and Kilduff-Bill. Dominion Energy, Town Bank, and Dare County. Folks, there were 34 total sponsors, including a grant from the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau. I also want to let you know about a special way this community serves veterans. For decades, the Dare County Board of Commissioners has funded a special position by setting up a designated employee to be our official Veterans Service Officer. This person has special training to help veterans file claims with the VA and assist veterans and their families in so many ways. Not every county does this. I'm proud that Dare County invested in its veterans. On the front line of serving our veterans here in Dare County is our very own Veterans Service Officer, Patty O'Sullivan. Tell you folks, she's one amazing woman. She worked so hard on this project. Patty, this wall that heals would not be here today without you. God bless you, Patty. All that you do for our veterans and their families. I'd like to close by sharing a thought from my heart. This event means so much to me because, like many of you, veterans have a special place in my heart. My father was a World War II veteran who landed in Normandy. Came home from the war, and his brother-in-law talked him into joining the Marine Corps Reserves. Lo and behold, his unit was called to the front lines in Korea. He, my dad, was my hero. He instilled in me a love of country, and he was my role model, who inspired me to also wear the uniform in service to our country. I was proud to serve in the military as a legacy to my hero, my father. As I think about my father's service to our country and the ultimate sacrifice that all of the veterans that are engraved on this wall, my heart is filled with love and gratitude that words cannot express. The Christian writer and philosopher G.K. Charleston said, "True soldiers fight not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him." Please join me in honoring these veterans today in a special way. If you know someone on the wall, spend time reverently touching their names. If you don't know someone on the wall, please go and find a name. Memorize it. When you talk about what you did here today on this site, you can say, I honored a Vietnam veteran by the name of William Allsbrook Jr. Or find any one of the many other heroes engraved on the wall that heals. Connect with at least one of them. Let their names live on in your heart, because they are not just names on a wall. They are sons and daughters. They are brothers and sisters. They are fathers and mothers. And they are husbands and wives of people who mourn for them every day. Just a reminder, the wall that heals will be here through Sunday, November the 19th. Visitors are welcome 24 hours a day. There's no cost. There's no ticket. There will always be someone here to help you. And over the course of the next few days, there'll be some special event you will not want to miss. 6 p.m. tomorrow, candlelight ceremony will feature patriotic music and guest speakers. And a reading of the names of the Vietnam veterans from Dare County who have served. On Saturday at 11 a.m., walk to the wall to honor the Vietnam veterans from Dare County who are in attendance. Our Vietnam veterans will gather at the Mobile Education Center, and then they will walk together as brothers to visit the wall that heals. These are special events you will not want to miss. Once again, folks, thank you all for being here today. God bless our veterans. God bless the United States of America.
I'm Chris Kelly Simcoe, and the proudest thing that I can tell you is that I am the daughter of a Marine. I am the only child of a Marine. I went to 17 schools, and I lived the entire Marine life. And I'm really happy to be here with you today. I'm also happy to live the quiet life in Dare County. The first thing I want to do is thank some very special people who made this all happen for us, for my husband and I. Patty O'Sullivan and Wally Overman and Chris Salwin from the Outer Banks Community Foundation, who is here somewhere, I know. When my husband and I heard about the wall that heals, we wanted to help make it happen for Dare County. We knew that there were some challenges associated with bringing it. And several years ago, we had started a memorial fund honoring my father, General Paul X. Kelly, PX Kelly, 28th Commandant of the Marine Corps. And we had some money in it, and we decided that maybe this would be a great way to make a grant. So our fund was a perfect resource, and today we're really, really proud that we were able to help bring this to you today. For the veterans, for the families, and for the entire community. You know, although it's a very special day for Dare County veterans, it's also a time of memories and sadness. And among the 58,281 names on this wall is a member of my own family, George Adams. He was my cousin, and he died in the spring of 1970. George was a helicopter pilot. He was killed when he volunteered to go out on a rescue mission, and this was just days before he was supposed to come back, that golden hour when you're not supposed to go out and do anything, when you're supposed to get back safely. George was whip smart. He was absolutely adorable. He played the guitar like nobody, and he was 22 years old. All he wanted was to come back and to propose to his high school girlfriend, Alice. He never made it back. Like many of you who served in Vietnam, my dad never spoke about his 2 tours there. But I know enough about his experiences to have a sense of the loss and the emotion that he brought home with him. What he did very often speak about was the bravery and the brotherhood of his Marines. He understood too well the lasting impact of the scars that they brought home. he also understood, because he spent a lot of time living in Washington, especially when the wall was built, that it had great impact in helping folks, millions of visitors a year, in helping folks with the lasting scars of combat, and in helping their families understand what they carried with them. So here we are in Dare County. The wall is here. We're here today, and I pray that the wall will bring healing and renewal to those of you who still carry the burdens of your time in Vietnam, that your families will be able to help you with this wall and the feelings of renewal. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, all of you, veterans, spouses, families, for your service to our nation. And thank you for being here today. And one last thing, December 5.
Now our guest speaker is U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral Shannon Gilreath.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here with you this morning, and I'd like to first say thank you to all the veterans that I see out here in attendance. The Marines, the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and there might possibly be a Space Force veteran here, so I don't want to leave them out. But I want to say thank you. And I especially want to say thank you to those Vietnam-era veterans that I see out here today. Thank you for your service. Many of you did not have a choice in deciding whether you wanted to serve our country or not. Some of you were drafted, some of you volunteered, but all of you served our country. You put our nation's interest and our nation's freedoms ahead of your own personal interest, and you sacrificed in that regard. And I want to say thank you to you. I also want to say thank you to your families, because as Ms. Simcoe pointed out, your families serve with you. As I transition and move to different places around the Coast Guard, there's an automatic support network for me. I report into work. I have peers. I have people working for me. I have people I work for. I know them. But my spouse and my children don't have that same support network when we move. And they have to start over. They have to start over their careers. They have to make new friends, start over at schools. I heard 17 different schools. My kids have been much more fortunate than that, but they still had to have started over. So I want to say thank you to you, because what you're due to support your spouse matters. And I also want to thank those Vietnam-era families and veterans, because what you have done matters a great deal to me personally, and the veterans who are serving, the folks who are serving on active duty today. You have changed the culture away from what you were treated when you came home to one of honoring our veterans when they come back into their communities. When I'm wearing my uniform and I go somewhere, I'm often stopped and thanked for my service. That wouldn't have happened but for the experience that you had that was negative in deciding that cannot be in our country. That is not the right way to treat people who are sacrificing their selves, their interests for their country. Thank you for making that difference. Just yesterday morning, I heard the Commissioner talk about the people of Dare County. Let me give you an example. Yesterday morning, my Master Chief, my aide, we were going down to visit Station Hatteras Inlet here in Dare County. And as we were going down there, we had to leave early. We decided to stop for breakfast at Avon at Duck Donuts. We went into Duck Donuts. Ocean is the manager there at Duck Donuts. We were the only customers there, and she said, "Thank you for your service," and she bought our breakfast for us that morning. That doesn't have to happen, but it did. And so that makes a difference in our lives when we see people actively say, "Thank you for what you're doing." It makes you feel good about the people that you're serving. Some of you may wonder, well, exactly what did the Coast Guard do in Vietnam? And some of you may actually know. But the Coast Guard was involved in Vietnam. We had 8,000 men and women who served there during that time frame. So it's a much smaller number than the other services, but they were there. They did a variety of missions. So they did everything from, we had smaller patrol cutters, 82-foot patrol cutters, and other larger cutters that did blockade work to try to prevent arms from being imported into South Vietnam from North
North
Dad told
Vietnam
me
and
about
other
his time
places.
in the Coast Guard.
We set up some navigation systems so that people could navigate a little bit safer on the rivers, and we also set up a precursor to GPS, which was called Loran. So those of you who are fishermen probably know about Loran Sea. Okay, but we set that up so people can navigate safely. Even our aviators could able to find the locations they were trying to go to a little bit better. And then we had some people that helped out with combat rescue missions. The Air Force needed some additional pilots to come over and help them. So I want to tell you a story about one of those pilots. His name was Lieutenant Jack Richter. Now Jack was from Ohio. He was born in 1933. He wound up going to Kent State, and he was a pretty good athlete. He wound up becoming the captain of the football team there. And when he graduated from Kent State, he decided to accept a commission in the Air Force. So he went to work for the Air Force, learned to fly helicopters, and he did that for several years. And then he decided to switch services and come over to the Coast Guard. So we were glad to get Jack, because Jack was an experienced pilot, and he quickly made his mark in the Coast Guard, doing some amazing rescues in the Great Lakes, saving people in storms. He got some air medals for what he did. He was an amazing pilot. And then in 1967, Jack volunteered for a program that the Air Force had with exchange pilots. So he transitioned back to the Air Force, still working for the Coast Guard, but went to serve with the Air Force and flying the Jolly Green Giants. They were doing rescue missions inside Vietnam. And then on June 9th, Jack was airborne with his crew of 3 other people, all Air Force in this case. And he got a call about a Marine Corps pilot who had been shot down. He was shot down on the border between Vietnam and Laos. And there was a lot of fire going on. The first aircraft that went in there could not rescue him. And I think about what our aircraft do today in the Coast Guard, and they do some pretty difficult missions for us doing search and rescue. But this is search and rescue at a whole nother level, because you got people actively trying to kill you on the ground while you're trying to rescue the people there. And so Jack and his crew decided they were going to accept the mission, and they went in. And they tried the first attempt, and they couldn't get there. They had to back off and come again. And unfortunately, the story doesn't have the ending I would like. Jack was shot down and killed with his other 3 crew members. So Jack's name, Jack Richter, is on that wall over there. And so I plan to go look at it today myself. But Jack is a person that gave his life in service to our country. He did it willingly. He did it because he wanted to serve. He volunteered to go over there with the Coast Guard, and I'm proud that his name is on that wall. I wish it wasn't there, but I'm proud that it represents the Coast Guard and some of the other members that were killed while they were there in service. So again, I want to say thank you to our veterans here today. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for protecting our country's freedoms, and thank you for supporting us still today. Thank you.
I would like to thank all my fellow workers that brought the wall here, and thank you for coming to honor today those men and women on the wall that heals. But first, let me say to my brothers and sisters, welcome home. Welcome home. To all of the 58,281 brothers and sisters on the wall, welcome home too, brothers and sisters. They are our real heroes. Ones like PFC John Dalton, Major Charles Waters, Captain Harry Klinger, and John Barnes III, just to mention a few of the names. As in our Bible, as it says on John 15:13, greater love has no man than to lay his life down for his friends. And that's what those men and women did for us. And we thank you for that. But now, let me speak of our home gentlemen that are on the wall from Dare County. They gave their all. We have Herman C. Cahoon, U.S. Army, Sergeant First Class. Company B, 36th Engineer Group, 20th Engineer Brigade from East Lake, who on 10/21 of 71 lost his life in a truck accident. And his final resting place is in East Lake Baptist Cemetery. Then we have William S. Sims Jr., PFC, United States Army. Company A, 53rd Signal Battalion, 2nd Field Force. On 8/1 of 67, a Jeep crash claimed his life, and he now lays to rest in Haven Creek Cemetery in Manio. And I was there just a few miles away at 2 Field Force myself when that happened. It was a terrible tragedy. But the whole war was somewhat of a tragedy. Then we have Leo M. Jeanette, United States Marine Corps, Lance Corporal. A Company, 1st Battalion, 27th Marines, 1st Marine Division. On 8/23 of 68, lost his life, small arms fire. Now we have William Sechrist, United States Army, Master Sergeant. He was with a Vietnamese Task Force Detachment as Operations Sergeant, Special Forces and Military Intelligence. On December the 30th, 1964, posthumously was awarded the Silver Star. His detachment was attacked by several battalions. Position was overrun. Hand-to-hand combat. And he lost his life for our country. Rest in peace, my brother. He is buried at Shiloh United Methodist Church Cemetery in Stumpy Point. Then we have Ronald H. Fields, United States Army, Warrant Officer, Sea Battery, 2nd Battalion, 20th Artillery, 1st Air Cav Aerial Rockets. He was a helicopter pilot. They were flying close air support, was hit by small arms fire, and crashed with no survivors on December 29, 67. He is laid to rest in Austin's cemetery in Kitty Hawk. So I would like to thank you all for coming out to honor and pay respect to all my brothers and sisters who gave their lives for duty, honor, country. Rest in peace, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
This is a poem that Commissioner Wally Overman penned in honor and dedication to his cousin, Glenn Overman. They were young and they were full of life. They all had their special dreams, yet suddenly they were soldiers, unreal as it may seem. Their dreams of a normal life had suddenly been spurned. No peaceful journey into old age, that path forever to be interred. Their youth was stolen from them by a thief we know as war. They stood briefly at life's portal, and then fate closed the door. Some of them persevered, others of them did not, while some came home intact and Many others of them did not. Their names set into these walls, never to be forgot. They are names among us still on this earth, never to be forgot. They still carry all the wounds of war, both inside and out. They suffer all their secret ills, both inside and out. Some suffer through their sleepless nights, every night they spend, while still others suffer nightmares, forever present, end on end. They did not request this fate, nor did they deny their duty. They always did their very best, justice on until tomorrow. As they thought tomorrow was just a dream, surreal in its disguise, as their only close, true friends in life fell suddenly, lifeless, by their sides. While many of those who did not go feel guilty every day for not joining with their brothers,
We were soldiers.
for not joining in the fray.
Came out in 2002.
And so we come to these hallowed grounds to pay belated respect to they, the ones upon these walls, and to the ones remaining, shown such neglect. They, the ones who gave their all, they, the ones who tried, they who lived, fought, and died on foot, and they, the ones who never shied from their duty or their conscience, from their country or their creed, from their honor or their sacrifice, for their service or their need. They who lost their futures in a blinking of an eye, in a place so foreign to them, what for what, and why? These questions seem unending to all those who survived, with nothing left but memories of the friends now left behind. They served the country that they loved, and they gave all they had. Some have their names upon this wall, while respect is all they have. So travel safely, O brothers in arms, into your eternity, into the folds of heaven, wherever that may be, into the arms of angels, to a calm that does not cease, bathed in love of Almighty God, and there forever live in peace.
And now